system. Could you give me a little bit of how you would want to work this out? Let's just put some manifestation that we get some real good progress. We get some beautiful changes. How do
Yeah.
we implement it in a realistic manner to make this
Yeah.
overall happen? I know you
Yeah.
thought about
So this is what I want to propose to people in the United States, and it's a good time to do it, right? This is my vision. I'm not really prepared to do this, but let's go ahead and lay this out for you for the vision, because I think it's time for the people to hear what I have to say as far as what I want to see happen. I'm not an abolitionist. There are people that are a danger to society. We need to address that. First off, we need to switch from a punitive-based system, because we're not going to punish anymore. We're going to switch into a public health system, a restorative-based system. So we're going to look at the issue of criminality, the issue of morality as a matter of public health. And we're going to take hurting people, we're going to put them into an environment where we can heal them from the hurts that have affected them. One of the main ways is that this system today, if you look at it, it costs the people of the United States about $600 billion every single year. Now, that number, I know people would say, is extremely high, but what they're not taking into account is some of the long-term effects. When you remove male from the household, now you've got a single house mother that's working. You've got children that are now going to be put into a lower socioeconomic status. So you have a massive amount of back-end cost with with food stamps and other things, these social programs that are directly affected or directly the result of this institution. So the estimate is around $600 billion that we spend right now today on this system that does nobody any good except for a bunch of judges, attorneys, and prosecutors, right? So they're the ones that are making $600 billion a year by creating an environment that crime can be committed in, by creating an environment where we can take hurting people and put them into a more hurtful situation and then expect them to get out and be healed, right? Which doesn't work. It makes them a better criminal, right? Because it creates more crime, more trauma, and now they go out and create more hurting people. So the reality is that the people that are benefiting from this are the ones that are actually fueling it and driving it, right? We got to be honest with that, because they're the only ones that benefit from it. The taxpayers don't get any benefit from a person being put into a hurtful situation and then hurt even more and sent out. That doesn't, the criminal himself isn't, because he's just becoming a better criminal so he can go out and commit more crimes, right? The victim isn't getting anything out of it because, well, hey, they just become a victim hurting themselves because nobody cares about the trauma that just happened to them, right? Now they're going to go hurt people. So this system is creating itself. It's not its business model to make people better, to heal them. It's in the business model to hurt them even more. So what I'm saying is that this system, it's got to go away, right? And we need to change the way that we deal with it, right? We don't take a person and enslave them. We take a person, we give them life, okay? So the thing is that it costs, national average is $65,000 to $80,000 to send a person to prison for 1 year. National average. The federal side is up around 120,000. California is like 110,000. So it costs a lot of money. Now, I don't balance my checkbook, right? I'm sorry, I don't do that. I'm not a big numbers guy, but we talk about having a deficit here in America, and we have 2.9 million people that are currently sitting in prison that's on roughly $65,000 to $80,000 per year. I don't balance my checkbook, but I think I might have just figured out where our problem's at, guys. I mean, it is what it is. So $65,000 to $80,000 national average, send a person to prison for 1 year. I can take a person and send him to University of Washington for full tuition for $12,000. $12,000, right? Full tuition, 1 year. That gives him a life. That gives him a future. That benefits him. That benefits society, because he's going to come out with a life. God, we're going to create him into what he wants to be and give him happiness and these things that he needs, right? I could send him to 5 years full tuition for the same price as the low end to send him to prison for 1 year. You know, we've already got these institutions in place. And so what I'm proposing is that, you know, one of the best educations that a person can get is the military academies. West Point, Annapolis. I mean, you get a phenomenal education, but it's a prison, right? You go to these institutions, and the first 2 years, you don't get to leave. It sucks, right? Year 3, you get weekends off. Year 4, you know, you can leave it at nights, but it's a prison, right? And you have to learn how to operate within it. But you get just a phenomenal education. What I'm saying is that let's focus on something like that. So What I'm looking at is that the Montgomery GI Bill, which is a post enlistment tuition benefit program. So if you join the military and you serve 2 years in the military, you get out and they give you $40,000 to go to college. That's how I got my education. I came from an extremely poor family. I would have never been able to do it if this country hadn't given me such a wonderful benefit and given me the ability to go out and get the education that I got. It would have never happened. I was made who I am because of the benefit that this nation gave me. It was a path that I was on. I want to see that path for a lot more people, a lot more, because the way that they started the Montgomery GI Bill was after the Vietnam War. They took $250 million and they put it into a low interest savings account, and from that account they draw just the interest only off of it, just the interest, and that pays for every single service member to go and get a college degree. They never have to put another cent into it, and that's $250 million. So what I'm proposing is, let's, for the next 3 years, let's take this $600 billion that we're wasting, right, on lawyers, judges, and attorneys, right? It's not doing anyone any good. Let's take that $600 billion, let's put that into a low interest savings account, okay? And then year 4, let's start drawing that interest only out of it, and let's make education finally free for everybody. Let's make people what they were meant to be. Let's help facilitate that, because that benefits everybody, right? If we draw the interest out of that, the interest will be able to pay for it, because I can send a person to University of Washington for full tuition for $12,000, right? Instead of $65,000 to $80,000 to send him to prison. So I think that instead of taking the poor and saying, I don't want to educate you, I just want to enslave you, right? In this chattel slavery that we call sweatshops in China, but prisons here in America, and we're just going to lie to the American people and say that you're nothing but a piece of shit criminal, which you're not, because I'm going to tell you right now, some of the smartest and most creative people I've ever met are in prison, right? These are people that are amazing. They're smart, they're talented, but we're not directing that talent in the proper direction. When you have a gang member, right, who is out there managing thousands of gang members, right? They're some of the most obstinate and disruptive people that there are. This is a natural born leader, right? Why are we not harvesting that and using that to benefit all, right? Why are we permitting, us to just say you're nothing but worthless piece of shit that's going to remain in? No, let's take that. Let's harvest. Let's bring him about to something better. When you have a person that creates a multinational drug organization that's making millions of dollars, this is a natural born CEO. Are you serious? Like, why are we not harvesting this? Why are we not taking this and directing it in a proper direction? When you have artists and I mean, these people, they're not worthless. They're amazing, right? Because they're just like every one of us. We just haven't taken what's amazing about them and focused it in a positive direction. Instead, we've labeled them and allowed this system to say that they're nothing but criminals, and we need to separate them from society so we can force them into involuntary servitude and work for the direct benefit of the state. And then we're going to lie to the whole country and say that they're criminals, they're felons. No, I don't want that anymore. So what I'm saying is that let's build a faith-based education system that will benefit our country, and let's ensure that every single person becomes exactly what God created them to be. Let's help them do that. We have the facilities today. We have the operations today. We have the ability for on-site vocational training. If you're going to become a doctor, great. You're going to be here for 10 years, but you're going to get your education. You're going to get your vocational training. We're going to make you exactly what you want to be. There's going to be 3 miracles that will happen to our country as a result of what I'm proposing here. Right? Miracle number 1 is we say that we have a drug problem here in America. Right? We have a drug problem. So we have a whole bunch of hurting people. They're looking for an artificial mechanism to be happy, because it's not normal for people to be unhappy. So as a result, we don't give a shit about why these people aren't hurting. Instead, we just give them this artificial mechanism to be happy. So instead of just simply giving them something that's going to treat the symptom, we're going to come in, we're going to treat the problem by saying, you know what happened to you, whatever it was, is okay. You deserve respect. You deserve love. You deserve to be made into what it was that you were meant to be. And so when we start caring about people, we will start seeing a change in those people. Because one of the reasons why people kill another human being is because they don't have respect for life. But that respect for life drives from their own respect. So if we can get these people to say, no, you're worth love, you're worth respect, you're worth being, cared about and appreciated, then through that respect for their own selves, they will respect others. This is well known. I mean, there are nations that have gone this direction that we can see. Israel is a great example in the kibbutz, where they actually sentence people to go to this particular community in Israel. If you've been convicted of violent crime, they send you there to learn how to live peacefully, because the environment that you're in dictates what you learn. So as our leaders continue to lead us in the direction of criminality, because they're out embezzling from the Social Security Administration so that they can funnel money to Ukraine, or they're out creating an environment where crime can be committed because they want to seize property and stuff under these secret police forces called drug task forces. When we do that, we are creating an environment, and then we wonder why we create criminals as a result. So I'm saying that let's educate people. So miracle number one, we're no longer going to have a drug problem, because we start healing the reason why the drugs exist, because it's the hurt and trauma in the individual that caused them to want the drug. So we can heal that. We don't have a drug problem here in America anymore, because we got a bunch of happy people that are living their lives happy and don't need drugs when they're happy. Miracle number two is we say we have a crime problem here in America. We do. We have a crime problem. We have a crime problem because we have criminals leading us, and we need to address that. Because if we can put leaders in office that are going to lead us in a good direction and be good moral leaders for the rest of the people will follow that. Because I don't think the people want to go in a criminal direction. They want to be inspired. They want to be led. But they have to be led by the right people. And if the wrong people are leading us, then we will be led in the wrong direction. We're certainly going in the wrong direction. So miracle number two is we will no longer have a crime problem here in America, because we're going to take these people that we call criminals today, and we're going to make them a person. We're going to make them a citizen. We're going to make them, what they were meant to. We're going to bring them back from the direction that we were going, because we're no longer going to follow a bunch of criminals in the direction that they're leading us. Miracle number three is, like I said before, I don't balance my checkbook, but we say we have a deficit problem here in America. We have a deficit problem because we got $600 billion that's going to make criminals more wealthy. And so we're no longer going to have that, because we're going to take that $600 billion we're wasting today, we're going to put it into a low interest savings account, which means that on year 4, we're no longer going to be paying $600 billion, because there's not going to be a need for that anymore, because we've taken the problem and we're going to use it in a much more efficient way, and we're going to draw the interest out of it, and we're going to give back that money to people. So we're no longer going to be paying those taxes, and so we're going to get that money back. It's going to come back to us. So we can solve these problems, and we can have 3 miracles. But the problem is that I need the people's support to do this. I can't do this on my own. I'm only one constituent, 330 million people, right? I'm given a vision for the direction that I would like to see the country go. You guys can listen to that. You guys can say, well, that sounds pretty good. I'd like to head that direction. And if we go that way, great. But I can't do it on my own, right? I'm going to need the support of everybody out there. I'm going to need the support of the people of the United States. You guys are going to have to get behind this if this is a vision that you guys think will work. Because there's no way that I can make this happen unless the people want this to happen.
I think you're doing your part. You're trying to enlighten us. And my favorite Nikola Tesla quote has always been, if humanity ever wants to find peace, humanity has to find enlightenment. And that's where we're at right now, where I think there is the tipping point where you could feel it, just having social media, the access to information. I've had these conversations before that I thought I was hidden. Like 10, 15 years ago, we would have these kind of conversations in small rooms with 1 or 2 people, but now I'm seeing it across the board. You're getting more people involved. The younger people getting more involved.
This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. I'm cranking up on the throttle, victory is mine. Show you